Yes, I think the Republican nominee is unfit to serve as president. I said so last week, and he keeps on proving it. The notion that he would attack a Gold Star family that had made such extraordinary sacrifices on behalf of our country. The fact that he doesn't appear to have basic knowledge around critical issues in Europe, in the Middle East, in Asia, means that he's woefully unprepared to do this job.
One reason that people question your account, and this gets to the important question of trust, is because that day at Andrews, you never talked about terrorism. You talked about the video.
We've seen the heavy assault on our post in Benghazi that took the lives of those brave men. We've seen rage and violence directed at American embassies over an awful internet video that we had nothing to do with.
No, that's not fair. If you go back and read everything that I said that day, I quoted people who talked about it being terrorism. I had already said it was terrorism. There was no doubt it was terrorism. I think there has been a confusion in the minds of some, and exploiting that confusion for the advantage of others.
I have a quote here where you say...
But look at everything I said. Because, and this goes back to all the investigations that were carried out. There were riots, there were protests, there were efforts to breach our embassies.
Yeah, but not in Benghazi. That wasn't what that was about.
No, but I'm just telling you, we were looking at the whole world. The whole world was aflame.
It should be about honesty. If you say something, mean it. If you don't mean it, don't say it. I was told so much bull crap about Benghazi, and most of the things that I heard were lies, absolute outright lies, and the government never got back to me like they promised. Hillary promised she would get back to me and tell me what happened. I don't know why my son is dead. I don't know why he was there, and I was told I am not a member of the immediate family and I do not deserve to know. I don't know if the Khans were told the same thing or not. You bring me out here to say things that I don't know. I want answers, and I want answers about why my son is dead and why she made the decisions that she made. I don't like her decisions. I don't think she'll make a very good, any kind of good president. Okay. I don't like her decisions. She kills people.
Secretary of State Hillary Clinton testified about the Benghazi tragedy shortly before she left office. I want to play a little bit of what she said.
With all due respect, the fact is we had 4 dead Americans. Was it because of a protest, or was it because of guys out for a walk one night who decided they'd go kill some Americans? What difference at this point does it make? It is our job to figure out what happened and do everything we can to prevent it from ever happening again, Senator.
What was your reaction to that?
Well, that's what I want to know. Why did it happen? And she is in charge. Why couldn't she do something about it? I blame her.
You blame Secretary of State Clinton?
Yes.
Why?
Because that's her department. She's supposed to be on top of it, and yet she claims that she knows nothing. It wasn't told to her. Well, who is running the place?
I want to continue with the issue of trust. Secretary Clinton, on the night of the attacks in Benghazi, you sent an email to your daughter, Chelsea, saying that Al-Qaeda-like group was responsible for the killing of the Americans. However, some of the families claim that you lied to them. Here's Pat Smith, the Mother Information Officer, Shan Smith. Let's listen.
Hillary and Obama and Panetta and Biden and all of Susan Rice all told me it was a video when they knew it was not the video. And they said that they would call me and let me know what the outcome was.
Secretary Clinton, did you lie to them?
You know, look, I feel a great deal of sympathy for the families of the 4 brave Americans that we lost at Benghazi. And I certainly can't even imagine the grief that she has for losing her son. But she's wrong. She's absolutely wrong. I and everybody in the administration, all the people she named, the president, the vice president, Susan Rice, we were scrambling to get information that was changing literally by the hour. And when we had information, we made it public, but then sometimes we had to go back and say we have new information that contradicts it. So I testified for 11 hours. Anybody who watched that and listened to it knows that I answered every question that I was asked, and when it was over, the Republicans had to admit they didn't learn anything. Why? Because there had already been one independent investigation. There had been 7 or 8 congressional investigations, mostly led by Republicans, who all reached the same conclusions.
A majority of Americans question your honesty. Some GOP rivals and family members of the Benghazi victims are saying you lied to them in that hearing. They point to emails that you sent the night of the attack, one to your daughter, Chelsea Clinton, saying, I'm going to have to put my glasses on here to actually read this. We were silent. 2 of our officers were killed in Benghazi by an al-Qaeda-like group. Another one to the Egyptian prime minister. We know that the attack in Libya had nothing to do with the film. It was a planned attack, not a protest. But the family members, as you know, say you told them it was by a filmmaker. You'd go after the filmmaker. Here's what they said.
She lied. She absolutely lied. Her daughter was able to be told differently that it was not the video. It was something else. Now, if her daughter could be told, why can't I?
Either she was lying to the Prime Minister or she was lying to me and to the American public.
Did you tell them it was out the film, and what's your response?
No. You know, I understand the continuing grief at the loss that parents experienced with the loss of these 4 brave Americans. And I did testify, as you know, for 11 hours. And I answered all of these questions. Now, I can't help it that people think there has to be something else there. I said very clearly, there had been a terrorist group that had taken responsibility on Facebook between the time that when I talked to my daughter, that was the latest information. We were giving it credibility. And then we learned the next day it wasn't true. In fact, they retracted it. This was a fast-moving series of events in the fog of war.
To this day, I don't even know why a computer guy like Sean was sent to Benghazi. That night, we lost sons, brothers, fathers, and husbands. We lost 4 brave Americans who made the ultimate sacrifice for the country they chose to serve. And the American people lost the truth. For all of this loss, for all of this grief, for all of the cynicism, the tragedy in Benghazi has wrought upon America, I blame Hillary Clinton. I blame Hillary Clinton personally for the death of my son. That's personally. In an email to her daughter shortly after the attack, Hillary Clinton blamed it on terrorism. But when I saw Hillary Clinton, she sure is. She sure is. She lied to me and then called me a liar. When I saw Hillary Clinton at Sean's coffin ceremony just days later, she looked me squarely in the eye and told me a video was responsible. Since then, I have repeatedly asked Hillary Clinton to explain to me the real reason why my son is dead. I'm still waiting. Whenever I called the State Department, no one would speak to me because they say I am not a member of the immediate family. Sean is my son. Hillary Clinton is a woman, a mother, and a grandmother of 2. I am a woman, a mother, and a grandmother of 2. How could she do this to me? How could she do this to any American family?
I don't understand why the Republicans would choose to put this on primetime television when they have such wonderful stories of American heroism to speak to the American people. I think it was wrong. I don't care what that woman up there, the mother, has felt. Her emotions are her own. But for the country and choosing a leader, it's wrong to have someone come up there and tell a lie about Hillary Clinton. It's not true. It's logically not true. It's manifestly not true. She had anything to do in that case, even if all the arguments about what she said afterwards or Susan Rice said afterwards on Meet the Press are true. And anybody who thinks about it for a second knows it's not true. And I think it's wrong that they ruined their evening with this.
One of the most dramatic moments in the Republican convention was when Pat Smith, the mother of Sean Smith, one of the people who died in Benghazi, stood up before the convention and blamed you for her son's death.
I blame Hillary Clinton. I blame Hillary Clinton personally for the death of my son. That's personally.
She and the father of Tyrone Woods both say that on the day that their sons' bodies were returned to the United States, that you came up to them and you said it was all because of a video, not terrorism. Now, I know some of the other families disagree with this, and I know you deny it. My question is, why would they make that up?
Chris, my heart goes out to both of them. Losing a child under any circumstances, especially in this case, to State Department employees, extraordinary men, both of them. CIA contractors gave their lives protecting our country, our values. I understand the grief and the incredible sense of loss that can motivate that. As other members of families who lost loved ones have said, that's not what they heard. I don't hold any ill feeling for someone who, in that moment, may not fully recall everything that was or wasn't said.
They were outraged about some of the statements that Mr. Trump and his supporters made about the Khan family. But there has to come a point at which you say, somebody who makes those kinds of statements doesn't have the judgment, the temperament, the understanding to occupy the most powerful position in the world. Because a lot of people depend on the White House getting stuff right.